Now, I do want to get to a couple of quotes that I think are going to make both of you laugh.
Okay.
The first one is from Ken Holland, GM of the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers did almost nothing. They went out and got 500 gamer Dmitry Kulikov.
700.
700 gamer. So most of that was in Buffalo, a little bit in New Jersey. But Kulikov has been okay. He's an okay guy. He's not going to push Edmonton over the edge. Obviously, we know it. That's going to be Draisaitl and McDavid. That's who's pushing them over the edge. But Ken Holland said this, and I thought this was funny. I don't think that you can be all in every year. I think you pick and choose. And I think maybe there's a suggestion that we spent a lot of draft capital last year going and getting who we needed to get, and they played like 3 games, and then that was it. And so maybe this year is not their year, and they're not going to. And Edmonton's had a good season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering what a quote like that says to the dressing room. Like, if you're Connor McDavid and you're reading that and you're just wrecking worlds out there with Leon Draisaitl, are you not like, well, thanks, Ken. Appreciate that. We're not all in.
Like, did anyone have like a sound machine in that room? And just as soon as he was done the sentence, they go, wah, wah, wah. Like, just because you've screwed up at last deadline. Like, so what I'm hearing from Ken Holland is he does not trust himself.
Right, because he goofed last year's deal. Right. He objectively paid too much.
Listen, no one told you to go out and give 2 seconds for Andreas Athanasiou, who's not named Steve Yzerman. Like, no one told you to go out and pay more for Athanasiou, and then also not keep him. Who told you to do that? Like, who told you any of that was a good idea? I'm surprised he didn't hold on to him, like, just to save face, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that. The Oilers gave up more for like 9 games of Athanasiou. What am I going to say? Say the line, Bart. Than the Sabres got for Taylor Hall.
Right.
I don't. What a silly thing to say.
I wonder too. I mean, there could be some cap constraints there too, but you make it work, right? You try to anyway.
All right. I look at their roster and like. I don't know if maybe he's right to not believe in it, because I may regret saying this, but I don't believe they're built really for the playoffs, because right now Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is out. And that one injury has taken Draisaitl down to the second line where he doesn't play with McDavid all the time. And right. if you're removing one piece from the Jenga and it all falls apart, like, how do you expect your team to survive 4 rounds of playoffs?
They've had the same issue for 4 years.
Exactly. So either you're going to go out and you're going to fix it completely by getting like 4 different guys to plug all these different holes, or you just leave it and you admit that, hey, this is an off-season problem and there's nothing really I can do here because our team isn't deep enough. Like, I feel like they have the reverse problem that the Leafs have with their forward group, where it's just not deep enough and they can't supplement the McDavid Draisaitl.
They're going to be able to do it this summer. Mm-hmm. I mean, they didn't have to re-sign Chris Russell, by the way. They didn't have to extend him, but they did. I don't know why, but he's going down from $4 million to 1.25 next season. But I still go, why did you re-sign Chris Russell? Why did you do that? You could have had that extra $1.25 million. The other thing, what's coming off the books here, we got Adam Larson at $4.1 million off the books. Tyson Barrie, who they may try to re-sign.
$7 million.
Yeah, well, he's making $3.75, so he might just eat up Adam Larson's salary. Who knows? Gaetan Haas and Alex Chason, that's about $3 million off the books right there. So they do have some money coming off. Mike Smith will obviously be off the books, but they'll probably re-sign him again anyway, because why the hell not?
Why not?
Hey, I don't know. Edmonton's going to have some salary room this year, and they're going to go hunting. But I'm with you, Jesse. I don't quite. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is also a free agent at the end of this year.
Adam, we do have to award a crown, or at least adjust the crown, because you always give the Canadian GM who does nothing crown to Kevin Cheveldayoff. Mm-hmm. I think that's a little out of date, and you need to take that crown right off his head and put it on Ken Holland. I don't know how you don't surround the most world-destroying duo in hockey. And I'm saying that as a fan of a team that has Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. I don't know how you don't surround them with everything that you possibly can. Your off-season move to surround them with talent was Tyler Ennis and Kyle Turris.
And you've waived Tyler Ennis twice this year.
You've waived both of them. Yeah.
Well, and people made fun of me for saying that Zach Kassian got a ridiculous contract. Guys, Zach Kassian makes $3.2 million. He's the fourth highest paid forward on the team this year, and he has 5 points in 24 games.
Well, because
they gave him that
contract. They gave him that contract with the assumption that he was basically, okay, you're Zach Hyman for these two. And then they made him not that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's okay. Now I'm just overpaid guy, I suppose.
That's what it is.
It's what a shame. Like, I mean, the Oilers, look at them. Mike Smith has given them goaltending this year, and McDavid just seems to get better. Like, you can win a round or two with what they have, just because of how special it is. But to go all the way, like, you got to move heaven and earth to surround Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl at some point. At some point, for the love of God. When's it going to be?
I don't know.
Well, how don't you look at the Canadian division and take a run at it?
Yeah.
I'm looking at Zach Kassian's numbers right now, by the way. He's averaging like between 10 and 12 minutes a night for $3.2 million.
He must be battling something. And like, I think the Leafs have played them extremely well, but it's not like they've really been blowouts. Even that 3-game series that we go back to, where the Leafs only allowed 1 goal, had 2 shutouts, 3 different wins from 3 different goalies. Almost all their games have been tight.
Mm-hmm.
Oilers have come away with some wins. I don't like, if I'm the Oilers, I go, okay, how hard would it be for us to beat the Jets in a series of 7? Come on. I don't know. I feel I would have liked them to do more.
Yep. I agree.
You got to think. You got to get creative. You can't just go, the cap. Look at some of the shit-y contracts that have been moved in this league. The cap's not an excuse.
Well, it is an excuse if you don't want to get creative. And Ken Holland, can I be straight with you? Ken Holland has had insane success. But what was the last deal you thought, Ken Holland, wow, that was clever?
Right.
And Ken Holland has to be clever in this role with the Oilers. Has to be. Because McDavid and Draisaitl, number 1 and 2 in league scoring, take up number 1 and 2 on this team in salary. You got to be creative because Zach Kassian's making 3.2 and he's probably always going to underperform that contract. You have to be creative because Mikko Koskinen's making 4.1 and it's something like 4.1 for this year and next.
Holy, well, okay, that was Chiarelli. That was Chiarelli. Literally on his way out the door.
I'm not blaming him for all the extensions. Although you re-signed Chris Russell, you still have to be clever. Yeah. And like, so I look at what a guy like Kyle Dubas has done and I go, that's clever. I actually look at what Washington and Detroit pulled off today. It seems to work for both teams. Kind of a clever move. You know, you could say, well, Detroit fleeced them or whatever. I think if Washington wins, they don't give a shit. That's not
San Jose. San Jose has done over the last 24 hours is clever.
Doug Wilson's done some clever shit before, though, like the Mike Hoffman deal and the Erik Karlsson deal at the time. There's some clever stuff there.
I don't think that was clever. I think that was cheeky.
Yeah, well, maybe. Now, the one last quote I want to bring up to you guys comes from our buddy Jim Benning. And let's be honest, the Canucks are not having a good time. It's been a bad year. They swung and missed on their own free agents, Tanev and Markstrom. They quote-unquote ran out of time. Then they decided, well, listen, we can get Nate Schmidt for a third, which was a good pickup. Hasn't looked it's looked okay, but it hasn't looked like typical Nate Schmidt. I wonder if there is, next year things will start to iron themselves out a little bit. And then you go, we have to re-sign Tanner Pearson for 3 more years because we gotta.
Because we traded Tyler Toffoli wasn't the first thing you said.
Right. Well, Toffoli, you're right. They swung and missed on him too. That's 3 free agents. And now they're re-signing Tanner Pearson, probably only because, hey, listen, we got to re-sign the guy that we gave up assets for. But they traded Adam Gaudette today, who until this year, this guy was a big part of their future. And what was interesting about the quote was, to be honest, we expected him to take another step this year. He's been all right.
Not that I've gotten to see a ton of them, but in the Leafs games, I was like, hey, that guy's a player. He's fast.
Right. Jim Benning kind of shanked him on the way out, though. That is like,
gotta stop saying words. He just needs to stop saying words for the love of God, Jim.
If I'm Adam Gaudette, that quote is on my wall, and I am kicking ass every single game the rest of this year. And the next time I get to play the Canucks, get fucking ready. And I'm going to show all my teammates that, and I'm getting a hat trick.
Absolutely.
Like if you're a Canucks player, are you not like, Jim, what the fuck, man? Stop making life harder on us.
No, if you're a Canucks player, I don't think you're confused by it. You're like, that's Jim. That's Jim. This is kind of what he says, sticks his foot in his mouth. I don't know. They're having a terrible time. I don't know what you do with that Canucks team, by the way. Looked like they were going to open their facility back up. It's closed again. Mm-hmm. Very unfun time. And Gaudette was one of their guys who was COVID positive and I think had symptoms as well. I was surprised to see him move, to be honest, not just because of the player he is, but like I was surprised. Like I guess Chicago is interested in what he can do going forward because I don't even know if he's cleared to play.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, there's been too much to keep up with the Canucks.
They've got Hamonic, Edler, VC, and Sutter coming off the books this year, which is, $10+ million. But then you got to re-sign Quinn Hughes. So that's going to be fun.
With what?
Well, with that money, probably.
Right. What did you guys think of the Tanner Pearson deal? Because they were saying that kind of came out of nowhere when I was listening to Friedman talk about it. He said that there was no news, and then all of a sudden he gets a text that, hey, Tanner Pearson's signing. So
bless him. He was playing junior B in his draft year. Bless him for getting the deal. But those are exactly. I tell you what, it's a trademark Jim Benning deal. Tell you what, here's $3 to $6 million to be the most average.
Yeah.
And it's
in your late 20s.
It's not an insult to Tanner Pearson. Yeah. It's not an insult. He's an NHL player for sure. But that's not a guy you give $3 million to and term.
Well, and beyond that, Steve, imagine what you could do with $3.2 million on this year when nobody has any money to spend. This is the year where free agents, it's like, here's a buyer's market. Obviously top-end free agents are always going to get top-end money. But are you telling me that Tanner Pearson's getting more than that on the open market this summer? No.
And he makes like $1 million more than Toffoli. Like, it reminds me. I tell you what, like I recognize like flavors kind of, and I've done some trade trees on the Chiarelli Edmonton Oilers. It's kind of that flavor, a little bit. I think the Canucks are better than that, but it's a little bit of that flavor. Just kind of, I can't tell what direction they're going in. I don't know what they are, and I don't know what they want to be. I don't know what Jim Benning wants this team to be. I don't get it.
He's been a general manager now for 7 years. Been a long time.
Dude, we've dedicated a lot of time on this show to ranting about Jim Benning.
Oh, yeah.
And with the Canucks, I can remember, like 2014. I want to say, I want to say, I remember us getting ready for like their series against the Flames.
Wow.
When was that, like 2015? And just going, I don't understand what this guy's doing. Yep. Don't understand it. Still don't get it. Again, they're not a terrible team. I've been saying this for a few years. They're not a terrible team, but are they coming or going? I don't know the answer.